The night has settled softly over the mountains of ancient China. The air is calm, cool, carrying the faint scent of earth and greenery. Tonight, we will move quietly through the story of tea in China, how it grew, how it was gathered, and how it was prepared from centuries past to the present. There is nothing to rush, nothing to accomplish, only stillness, only calm, only the quiet unfolding of leaves, water, and time. In ancient China, long before tea was written about or traded, the land itself shaped the beginning of the story. In the southern regions, where mountains rose gently and mist gathered at their peaks, tea plants grew naturally. These areas were warm and damp, with frequent rain and rich soil. Forests shaded the hillsides, and water moved slowly through narrow streams. Tea did not arrive suddenly. It appeared quietly, growing among other plants, unnoticed for generations. During the early dynastic periods, people in these regions lived close to the land. They observed plants carefully, not for profit, but for survival and balance. According to Chinese tradition, tea became known during the time of Shen Nong, a legendary ruler believed to have lived thousands of years ago. He was remembered as a teacher of agriculture and herbal knowledge, someone who studied how plants affected the human body. One story describes Shen Nong boiling water outdoors, as was customary for safety. As the water warmed, leaves from a nearby tea plant drifted into the vessel. The change was subtle. The water slowly deepened in color, and a gentle fragrance rose with the steam. There was no sense of discovery as we imagine it today, only observation. The drink was consumed and remembered. In early Chinese thought, balance within the body was essential. Foods and herbs were valued not for intensity, but for harmony. Tea was noted for its calming qualities. It warmed the body without heaviness, clarified the mind without restlessness. For this reason, tea began to appear among scholars, healers, and monks, not as a luxury, but as a steady presence. During the Han Dynasty, tea was still rare and regional. It was often prepared as a medicinal infusion rather than a daily drink. Leaves were boiled directly in water, sometimes with other herbs. There was no ceremony, only function. As centuries passed, tea slowly moved beyond medicine. By the time of the Tang Dynasty, it had become part of daily life in many regions of China. Tea houses appeared in towns and cities. Travelers rested, scholars read, conversations unfolded at an unhurried pace. Yet even then, tea remained quiet. It did not demand attention, it accompanied it. In the evenings, tea was prepared beneath lantern light, the sound of water heating over fire blending with the stillness of night. Steam rose gently into the air. Cups were warmed by the hands that held them. In ancient China, tea was not about stimulation. It was about steadiness, a small act, repeated over time, shaping centuries of thought, rest, and reflection. In ancient China, the harvesting of tea followed the rhythm of the seasons. There were no fixed dates, no written schedules. People watched the land instead. They observed the hillsides as winter loosened its hold. They noticed the first soft warmth returning to the air, and they waited. Tea plants responded quietly to the change. New leaves emerged slowly, tender and pale, shaped by cool mornings and lingering mist. The earliest harvests were done by hand, always by hand. Fingers moved gently along the branches, selecting only the youngest leaves and unopened buds. These were believed to hold the most balanced qualities, neither too strong nor too faint. Harvesting often took place in the early morning. At that hour, the air was still, and the leaves were cool with dew. Footsteps were light on the soil. Baskets rested against the body, woven from bamboo or reeds. There was no rushing. In ancient Chinese thought, haste disrupted harmony. Tea gathering was approached as a quiet task, one meant to be done with care. The leaves were placed loosely into baskets, never pressed or crushed. Damage was avoided, as it was believed to disturb the character of the tea. Once gathered, the leaves were carried back slowly, sometimes over long paths through forested terrain. The movement itself was unhurried. Back at small villages or mountain dwellings, the leaves were spread out to rest. They were allowed to release moisture gradually, responding naturally to the air around them. In early periods, tea processing was simple. Leaves were dried under the sun or over low heat. There were no precise measurements. Only experience passed quietly from one generation to the next. Some leaves were steamed briefly, others left untouched. Methods varied by region, shaped by climate and local tradition. During the Tang Dynasty, tea harvesting became more refined. Specific seasons were preferred, especially early spring. The first harvest of the year was considered the most gentle. Its flavor was light, its effect calming. Even so, tea was still not a luxury for most. It remained practical, familiar, woven into daily life. The act of harvesting tea was never loud. It did not draw attention. It was a moment of stillness within the larger movement of the year. As evening approached, harvested leaves rested quietly indoors. Lanterns flickered softly. The scent of fresh greenery lingered in the air. The leaves would soon be prepared, dried further, or stored for later use. But for now, they remained still. In ancient China, tea harvesting was not about abundance. It was about balance, taking only what was needed, leaving the plant intact, trusting the season to return. And in this gentle repetition, year after year, tea became not just a plant, but a quiet companion to time itself. In ancient China, brewing tea was a quiet extension of the day. There were no machines, no measured timers, no fixed temperatures, only water, leaves, fire, and patience. Water was gathered first. Clear water was preferred, often drawn from mountain springs or slow-moving streams. It was believed that the character of the water shaped the character of the tea. Water that moved gently was favored over water that rushed. Soft water over hard, stillness mattered. The water was heated over an open flame, usually wood or charcoal. The fire was kept low and steady. Too much heat was thought to disturb balance. As the water warmed, small sounds emerged, subtle, almost rhythmic, not yet boiling, only awakening. Tea leaves were prepared simply. They were broken by hand or left whole, depending on the region and time period. In earlier eras, tea was often compressed into cakes or bricks, then ground before use. The leaves were placed directly into the water. There were no separate vessels at first. Everything happened together. As the water heated, the leaves slowly released their essence. The color deepened gradually, never suddenly. The aroma rose with the steam, mild, vegetal, grounding. During the Tang Dynasty, boiling tea became more common. Salt was sometimes added, not for flavor, but for balance. The process was slow. The pot remained over the fire, attended but not watched closely. Brewing tea was not a task that demanded attention. It allowed the mind to rest. Later, during the Song Dynasty, methods shifted. Tea leaves were finely ground into powder. Hot water was poured over the powder and whisked gently. The motion was calm, circular, steady. There was no rush to finish. Cups were warmed beforehand. Porcelain and stoneware were chosen for how they held heat and felt in the hands. The tea was consumed slowly, not in conversation, not in distraction, but in quiet presence. Tea was not meant to wake the body abruptly. It was meant to support stillness. At night, brewing was especially gentle. Fires burned lower. Water heated more slowly. Lantern light reflected faintly off ceramic surfaces. Steam faded into the dark air. In ancient China, tea brewing followed the same rhythm as breathing. Slow inhale, gentle release. There was nothing to perfect, nothing to improve, only a simple act. repeated, and trusted. In ancient China, tea gradually became part of daily life, not as an event, but as a quiet presence. It appeared in monasteries first, where monks lived according to slow and deliberate rhythms. Days were structured by meditation, study, and silence. Tea was prepared in the early hours, before the sun fully rose. Its warmth supported long periods of stillness without disturbing the mind. Monks valued tea for its balance. It sharpened awareness gently, without restlessness. The act of drinking tea blended naturally into meditation. There were no announcements, no breaks. Tea was simply there. Among scholars, tea became a companion to reading and writing. Lanterns flickered softly beside wooden desks. Scrolls lay open. Ink dried slowly on paper. Tea was sipped between thoughts, between lines of text. It allowed the mind to remain steady during long hours of reflection. In households, tea was prepared without formality. Water was heated, leaves were added, cups were shared. It was offered to guests as a sign of quiet respect, not to impress, but to welcome. During the Tang and Song dynasties, tea houses emerged in towns and cities. They were modest spaces, filled with low voices and slow movement. Travelers rested there. Merchants paused. Conversations unfolded at an unhurried pace. Tea houses were not places of noise. They were places of rest. Over time, ideas about tea were written down. Poets and scholars described tea not for its flavor, but for how it made them feel. Calm, focused, present. One of the most influential writings on tea, The Classic of Tea by Lu Yu, reflected this mindset. It described tea as something that required care, simplicity, and attention, not excess. Rituals developed slowly. They were never rigid. The focus remained on the moment, the preparation, the sharing. Even when tea became more refined, it never lost its quiet nature. In the evenings, families prepared tea as daylight faded. The fire burned low, voices softened. Tea marked the transition from day to night. In ancient China, tea rituals were not about performance. They were about rhythm, a gentle repetition, carried through centuries, grounding the mind and calming the body. The focus remained on the moment, the preparation, the sharing. Even when tea became more refined, it never lost its quiet nature. In the evenings, families prepared tea as daylight faded. The fire burned low, voices softened. Tea marked the transition from day to night. In ancient China, tea rituals were not about performance. They were about rhythm, a gentle repetition, carried through centuries, grounding the mind and calming the body. Tea may be poured into cups for convenience rather than patience. Yet despite these changes, much remains the same. The essential rhythm endures. Leaves are still harvested with care. Even today, quality tea relies on understanding the plant, the season, and the environment. Some traditions continue to honor ancient methods, steaming or drying leaves gently, or preparing tea with stoneware reminiscent of centuries past. Modern brewing can be precise. Temperature, timing, and measurement may be exact. Yet the principle from ancient China still applies. Tea is meant to calm the body, to steady the mind. The rituals of sharing remain familiar. Whether in a quiet home, a tea house, or a ceremonial setting, tea invites pause. It asks only for attention, not urgency. In ancient times, tea supported reflection, meditation, and scholarly thought. Today, it can do the same. If one chooses to slow down, to notice the warmth of the cup, the rising steam, the subtle aroma. Even the modern tea drinker can return to the simplicity of the past. Grinding leaves by hand, waiting for the water to reach the right temperature, pouring slowly, observing the gentle color of the infusion. All of this echoes the care of those first stewards of tea. Tea continues to bridge centuries. Its quiet presence links the mountains and forests of ancient China, the hands of early harvesters, the flickering lanterns of scholars and monks, to our own modern moments of stillness. Whether prepared quickly or patiently, tea remains a companion to reflection. It reminds us to slow our pace, to honor the natural rhythm of the world, to observe without hurry. And so, from ancient hillsides to modern kitchens, from hand-picked leaves to measured infusions, tea carries forward a quiet legacy, a legacy of calm, of attention, of balance. It is a tradition of stillness, shaped over centuries, yet always present, always patient, waiting to be noticed, again and again. In ancient China, people experienced tea in many subtle ways. The taste of tea was never loud, never sharp, but gentle, grounding, and delicate. Leaves from different regions produced quiet variations. Some hillsides gave tea with soft, sweet notes, like fresh spring water carrying the faint scent of flowers. Other valleys produced leaves that were earthy, warming, deep like the soil beneath the mountains. Tea could be light or strong, bitter or slightly sweet. The most prized teas balanced the senses, neither overwhelming nor faint. Early drinkers described the flavor in terms of harmony, the way it lingered softly in the mouth, the way it warmed the body without hurry. Green teas were gentle and fresh, harvested early in spring. Their leaves were tender and pale, releasing a flavor that reminded the drinker of new leaves, mist, and dew. Oolong teas emerged later, offering a more rounded, fragrant experience. They carried a subtle complexity, a whisper of the mountains where they grew. Even without elaborate preparation, oolong leaves released a calm richness, neither sharp nor heavy. Some teas were blended with flowers or herbs, chrysanthemum, jasmine, and other blossoms. The scent floated lightly with the steam, adding a quiet sweetness, a lingering softness to the warm drink. In the Tang and Song dynasties, certain flavors were especially favored. Tea that was mildly bitter, then softened on the tongue, or tea that carried a faint floral note, or that left the mouth calm and clean, these were considered the most refined. People often judged tea not by strength, but by how it made the body feel. A good tea restored balance, calmed restlessness, and supported reflection. It was appreciated for subtlety, for nuance, for the gentle way it settled within the body and mind. Even today, the same principles remain. The finest teas are still chosen for their quiet harmony, their ability to soothe, not excite. Ancient favorites continue to guide modern preferences, a gentle reminder that tea has always been about balance, patience, and calm enjoyment. And so, the flavors of tea, soft, earthy, floral, or slightly sweet remain a quiet companion, a gentle part of daily life, patiently waiting to be savored in stillness. In ancient China, tea was not only a daily companion for monks and scholars, it also found a place among the wealthy and elite. In palaces and large estates, tea was prepared with careful attention to detail. The leaves were often the finest, selected from distant hillsides and rare gardens. Some teas were imported from far regions, valued for their delicate flavors, subtle fragrance, and unique character. The vessels themselves were objects of care. Porcelain cups and bowls, carefully shaped and glazed, were chosen to enhance the aroma and warmth of the tea. Water was drawn from private wells or mountain streams, clean, clear, and cool, then heated over steady flames. Wealthy households sometimes had specialized tea rooms. These spaces were quiet and refined, with low tables, soft mats, and the gentle flicker of lantern light. Tea preparation was almost ceremonial, though never rushed or loud. It was meant to be observed, savored, and experienced slowly. Servants or attendants often handled the process for the household. They would measure leaves, pour water, and gently warm the cups. Each motion was deliberate, precise, mindful, respecting the tea's delicate nature. The wealthy sometimes enjoyed tea with added flavors. Jasmine flowers, chrysanthemum petals, or even small amounts of medicinal herbs were combined to create subtle aromas. The effect was never overwhelming, always gentle, enhancing the calm presence of the tea. Tea drinking could accompany quiet conversation, reading, or reflection. Even in opulent surroundings, the focus was on stillness, balance, and the gentle rhythm of life. In some elite circles, tea was a social experience. Guests might be invited to taste different leaves, discuss aroma, flavor, and texture, or observe the preparation as a form of refined appreciation. It was not about impressing, but about the quiet sharing of knowledge and calm enjoyment. Through careful preparation, choice of leaves, and attention to detail, the wealthy cultivated tea as a subtle art. The experience was refined, but still deeply rooted in simplicity. Tea offered warmth, comfort, and balance, a quiet companion to thoughtful moments, reflection, and the long evenings of ancient China. Even today, the idea of tea as an art of care, refinement, and subtle luxury continues to echo in the way fine teas are prepared and enjoyed. In all its settings, simple or grand, the heart of tea remains gentle, patient, and calming. Tea was more than a daily ritual. It was also a quiet companion during festivals and special occasions. During important celebrations, tea was prepared with care and attention. Families gathered, lanterns glowed softly, and the air carried a faint warmth of fire and incense. Tea accompanied these moments gently, offering comfort and calm amidst the activity. Aye was served to honor guests, elders, or ancestors. The act of offering tea was thoughtful and deliberate. It expressed respect, gratitude, and harmony. No words were rushed, no motions hurried, only the slow, steady rhythm of preparation and sharing. Certain festivals highlighted seasonal teas. Spring teas celebrated new growth, light, tender, and fresh. Autumn teas reflected the harvest, earthy, rich, and grounding. In households, tea was sometimes combined with light foods, small sweets, or subtle herbs. The flavors were meant to complement the occasion, never overwhelm it. Tea was the gentle backdrop, supporting reflection, conversation, and togetherness. During these special times, tea also connected people to history. Guests remembered the mountains and valleys where the leaves grew, the careful hands that harvested them, the long-standing traditions of preparation. It was a quiet reminder of continuity, of patience, of the gentle flow of life across generations. Even in moments of celebration, tea maintained its calm presence. It was not a drink of excitement or indulgence, but of balance and attentiveness. Through every cup, the drinker was invited to pause, notice the warmth, inhale the soft aroma, feel the subtle comfort within. And as festivals continued into the evening, the tea remained, quietly supporting reflection, conversation, and rest. It carried the wisdom of centuries, the traditions of ancestors, and the timeless rhythm of slow, gentle living. In this way, tea became part of the fabric of life, present not only in daily routines, but also in the quiet celebrations that marked the passing of seasons and the turning of the year. Tea was more than a drink. It was a companion to thought, study, and quiet reflection. Monks, scholars, and students often included tea in their daily routines. Before long hours of meditation or study, a cup of tea was prepared slowly and mindfully. The warmth of the water, the soft aroma of the leaves, and the gentle color of the infusion all encouraged calm attention. Tea helped steady the mind. It did not rush thoughts, but allowed them to unfold naturally. Ideas could emerge gently, like mist rising from a mountain stream. The drinker could remain present, aware of each sensation, without distraction. In monasteries, tea was part of meditation practice. It supported alertness without agitation. The mind became clear, calm, steady. Monks moved slowly, aware of each gesture, each breath, each sip. Tea became part of the rhythm of mindfulness. Among scholars, tea accompanied reading, writing, and discussion. Scrolls were unrolled slowly, ink dried gently, and tea was sipped in silence or quiet conversation. It allowed long periods of focus, yet kept the mind relaxed. The influence of tea extended beyond individuals. Study halls and libraries often featured quiet tea corners. Tea fostered reflection and patience, creating spaces where learning and meditation could unfold naturally. Even in small homes, tea supported thought. Parents, teachers, or students might enjoy a simple cup before beginning their day of study. It reminded them to move slowly, observe carefully, and honor the quiet rhythm of life. Through centuries, tea became linked with learning and reflection. It was a gentle reminder that knowledge was not only about reading or writing, but also about observation, patience, and presence. A well-prepared cup of tea could calm the mind, open the senses, and allow understanding to arrive quietly, without hurry. It was a guide, a companion, and a teacher, helping those who drank it move through the day with calm awareness and drift into evening with quiet reflection, ready for rest and gentle sleep. The best tea leaves were often found in the south, in regions where rain fell steadily and the air remained cool and moist. Hillsides offered the right balance of sunlight and shade, allowing the leaves to grow slowly, tender and delicate. Some famous regions were quiet and remote. Tea plants grew alongside wildflowers, small streams, and forests that whispered softly with the wind. The altitude mattered. Higher slopes produced leaves with subtle fragrance, slow growth, and flavors that were mild, clean, and refined. Tea could also be found along river valleys. The water nourished the plants, the soil carried minerals gently, and the soft currents created a calm, balanced environment. Leaves from these areas were known for their smooth, earthy flavor, grounding yet delicate. In villages where tea was harvested, farmers observed the land carefully. They understood which hillsides produced the tenderest leaves, which soils allowed growth without bitterness, and which seasons offered leaves at their peak. Tea was never rushed. It followed the rhythm of nature, the gentle cycles of sun, rain, and wind. Some leaves grew wild, untouched by humans. Others were carefully tended, pruned, and nurtured by skilled hands. Both were valued, each offering its own quiet character, its own gentle presence in the cup. Even as tea spread across China, certain regions became quietly renowned. Mountains in Fujian, Zhejiang, Yunnan, and Anhui nurtured leaves prized for centuries. Their reputation came not from fame, but from careful observation, patient cultivation, and a gentle harmony with the land. The geography of tea was more than soil and water. It was a story of mountains, mist, rivers, and slow time. Each leaf carried a trace of the place it came from, a quiet memory of hillsides, streams, and soft winds, waiting to be discovered in every gentle sip. Once tea leaves were carefully harvested, they began a quiet journey from the hills and valleys where they grew, to the homes, tea houses, and markets of ancient China. In the early days, tea was carried gently by hand or in simple baskets. Farmers moved slowly along winding mountain paths, mindful of each step. The leaves were tender, delicate, and needed careful handling to reach their destination without damage. As trade developed, tea traveled farther. Pack animals carried baskets along narrow trails, across hills, rivers, and valleys. The movement was steady, deliberate, never rushed. Each bundle of leaves carried a trace of the mountains, the mist, the gentle sun of the hillsides. Merchants often played a careful role in the journey. They observed how leaves were stored, kept cool, dry, and safe from sunlight. Tea was packaged in woven containers, bamboo baskets, or pressed into cakes, all designed to preserve its delicate character. Some leaves moved along rivers, floating slowly in boats, guided by calm waters and quiet oars. Others traveled along early trade routes, connecting towns, cities, and distant provinces. The process was slow, patient, and required care at every step. Tea was more than a commodity. It was valued for its quality, aroma, and ability to calm the mind. The traders who handled it understood its importance and treated each leaf with respect. Over time, tea became part of larger markets. Merchants exchanged it for other goods, for coins, for fabrics, always mindful of preserving the gentle essence of the leaves. Even in bustling towns, the memory of the quiet mountains and careful harvest remained. The journey of tea from leaf to cup was never hurried. It reflected the rhythm of nature, the patience of the farmers, and the care of the merchants. As we reach the end of our journey through the world of tea in ancient China, let us pause and reflect. Slowly, gently, tea has traveled across centuries, from misty mountains and quiet valleys, from careful hands that harvested leaves, to the scholars, monks, and families who prepared it with attention and care. Every cup carries a story, a quiet memory of nature, patience, and balance. Tea reminded people to move slowly, to notice the warmth of water, the gentle aroma of leaves, the quiet rhythm of life. It carried with it the calm of mountains, the stillness of rivers, and the care of those who tended it. Today, we can still experience this calm. Even in our busy world, tea offers a moment of pause, a quiet presence, a gentle rhythm that invites stillness. So, as you listen, let your own thoughts settle. Allow your breathing to slow, your body to soften, your mind to drift gently. Imagine the mountains, the rivers, the soft morning mist where tea leaves first grew, and carry that calm into your rest, into sleep, and into tomorrow.